Hello guys, welcome back to the second tutorial in this series. So in this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and actually create our models, our database, and then we'll be able to insert data into the database. So first of all, before we get started, I'm going to take you through the admin page, and then you can see what you have done so far. So you can have an exposure to the admin page in Django. So I'm actually in my project folder right now. So if I do an ls, you can see I have my project folder there. If you're on Windows, that would be dir, okay? To view the content of a folder. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to activate my virtual environment. And to activate my virtual environment in Linux or MacBook, this is how you do it. But if you're using Linux, again, go back to the official, if you're using Windows, rather, go back to the official documentation to check how to activate your virtual environment if you're using Windows. But if you're on Linux and MacBook, feel free to follow along. So you just type source vnv, which is the name of this folder right here, and then /bin/activate. So if you just run that command, it's going to activate our virtual environment, and you can notice that by the name of the virtual environment folder being in parentheses in front of the line within our terminal. So I'm going to just change into my inventory system, and then I'm in my inventory system. So if I do Python 3 manage.py, and then I do run server like we did last time, run server, this is going to start the development server on my local host at port 8000. So let's wait for this to start. It's going to start the development server running at localhost at port 8000. Now you can see we're getting this weird warning over here about all this. Just in a moment we'll fix all this. So just go back to your browser and then go to localhost at port 8000 and then press enter, and then this will take you to this page, right? This is what we left from last time. Okay, so what's this error and how do we fix it? So I'm going to stop my development server by pressing Ctrl and C, which means cancel. And now that I've canceled that, I'm going to now run a command to run our virtual environment to start our server to create our database. The reason we're getting this error is that we haven't run migrations in our database. So you can read this, and you can tell it tells you that you need to run this command in order to apply those migrations. So we have not applied some migrations. So let's close this again, and then you have to simply type in Python and then manage.py and then manage.py and then migrate. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So this Python 3 and then manage.py. If you're on Windows, it's just Python and then manage.py, and then we're going to say migrate. So we're going to migrate the server, migrate our changes. So it's going to create all this running this command. It's going to create all these databases in our system. So now that we have done that, this created the default database that we can use to add a user, create users and stuff like that. And then so now that we have done that, I'm also going to just go ahead and actually run my server, run my development server, and you can see that error is now gone. So I'm going to go back to the browser and I'm going to show you something. So in here, just localhost at port 8000/admin, you can just type that into your browser, and this is going to tell you to log in. Now it's asking for a username and a password. Now we haven't created a user and you don't have a certain password. So what do you type in here to get access to the admin page? So great. So now what we need to do right now, we need to come back to the terminal, and now we need to create a super user. A super user, you can think of it like the admin of that specific website or web application. So I'm going to again stop the server running and clear my terminal and type in the following. So I'm going to type in Python 3 manage.py, and then I'm going to go create super user. So I'm going to go ahead and create a super user, and I'm going to leave the super user to be Prince, and then the email I'm just going to skip. The password is just going to be admin 1 2 3 4 and 5, and repeat that again, admin 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then press enter, and that has already created for us the super user. So now we need to now go ahead and actually start our server again. So manage.py, and I'm going to run server just like this. This is going to start my development server running on the localhost at port 8000. So go back to my browser, and now that's the credentials that I used to create the user is the credentials that I use here to log in. So I'm going to print and then the admin 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then I can go ahead and actually click on login, and this is going to log me into the admin page. This is the admin page if you log into a Django app project. So you can see we have these two tables here for authentication and authorization. We have this table, two tables, users and then the groups. Just click on the users table, and then if I click on the users table, you can see this is the users table. You can go ahead and actually click add a new user, and these are the information that you need to add. You just fill this form and then you click on save to add a new user. So that's the users admin table. So now how do we create our own databases here and then make them show up so we can be able to add data? In this case, it will be products or inventory, just like the way we need to do just like the way we can do for users. So to do that is very simple. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to create a Django app. So Django project itself it just gives you a platform for you to create settings and other stuff. Now you need to create a Django application, a Django app within your Django project. Now that Django app is used to help you to break your project down into different sections, to have modularity in your code and to be easier to manage your application or your project. So instead of our project folder where we have the migrate file, migrate.py file, what you're going to do, we're going to now create in a project now, Django app. We're going to create now a Django application instead of our Django project rather. So what you're going to do here, you're just going to simply type in Python 3 and then manage.py, and then you're going to say start app, and then you're providing the name of the app. I'm going to call it inventory, since you're going to use this to manage our inventories. In the future, you can create other apps in case you want to scale this project to a bigger thing. You can create other apps and use them for other reasons. So in this case, I'm going to create an app called inventory, and this is going to be a Django app. So you just press enter, and this will go ahead and create for you the app. So if you do an ls, if you're on Windows, you do a dir, you can see we have now a folder here called inventory, which is the name that you have specified here, right? So now our project is now created. So now let's go into our project and register our project inside of our register our app inside of our project. So now let's go. I'm going to go ahead and actually open Visual Studio Code, and when Visual Studio Code opens up, you're going to go into inventory system, and in there going to find a file called settings, and in settings you need to register our app. So what you'll simply do is very simple. So now we'll just wait for that to open up, for Visual Studio Code to open up. So now we'll go into the project, go into inventory system, and inventory system will go under apps, and in under apps, now that's where we register our project. So go to inventory system here, and then go under settings, and then under settings, that's where we register our applications, our other Django applications that you have created. So in here I'm going to keep one application, and this is just going to be a simple Django application. So what you're going to type in here, you're going to say inventory dot apps dot you're going to say, now if you go to inventory, let me just show you why I'm typing these things here. So inventory is the name of our app folder. So inventory, inside of there we have another file called apps. So saying inventory.apps, go inside of this folder. Now we're looking for this, so just copy this, then go back to settings and then paste that right there. So now that you have pasted that right there, you are done. So we have now registered our Django app inside of our Django project. So that's how we register a Django app inside of our Django project. You start by the name of the folder of the app, and then .apps, which is this file here, and then you are referring to this this class right here. So that's how you register a Django app inside of your Django project. So now that you have our Django project registered, now let's go ahead and create a database that is going to show and then that you're going to use to store our inventories. So I'm going to click on models, and you see here is where you create our models, and our models is just going to be our database models. So we're not going to writing anything like SQL. In Django you can just write something known as the ORM. Django, or it says ORM stands for Object Relational Mapper. So if you just write some Python code, that will get converted into a database that you can actually use. This means that you don't have to actually write a Django, so you don't have to actually write an SQL model on your own. So now let's go ahead and do that right here. So I'm going to create a class, and in this class you're going to have certain fields. So I'm going to create a class, and this class is going to be called inventory. So I'm going to inherit from models models.model. So just like that. So models.model, model is what you have been imported, and Django already imports that for you. So just going to see you just have to inherit from this class. We're going to say models.model. You're going to inherit from this. Now we're going to specify the field. You're going to have, each product is going to have a name. So we're going to say the name field, and it's going to be models.char field. So you're going to be a character field, and you need to specify the max length, and the max length can be anything. You can just say maybe 100. So the max length of the strings count must not be more than 100. So there must not be more than 100 strings that refer to a product name. Okay, so we have null, and you can say null is going to be false. It must not be empty. And then we have blank. Blank is for form purposes, and you're going to say it's going to be false. So what's the difference between blank and null? So null is for meaning the database, like SQL, you say null equals to false, and in blank stands for our when you're creating a form and you're going to create that in the future. That means that the form must not be empty, that this is required field when filling the form, and this is required for the databases. Okay, so now that we have that, you're going to now go to cost. I'm going to say cost underscore per underscore products. So it's going to be cost per item rather, and this is going to be models dot, this is going to be a decimal field, because the price can be in decimal, right? So we're going to have a decimal field. You're going to provide the following. We're going to say max digits. So we're going to say max digit, you're going to put it to be 19. So what this allows us to do is going to be all the total number of digits that's from the decimal, right? So you can also specify the decimal place. So I'm going to say decimal place, so it's going to be decimal places, and I'm going to do decimal place to be 2, and I'm going to say now it's going to be now it's going to be false. Let me get the spelling of right, false, right, and then I'm going to say blank. Let's say get the spelling. Blank is also going to be false. Okay, I've already explained to you what's the difference between null and blank, right? Okay, let me explain to you this part. So in our decimal field, we're going to have the capability to store 19 digits, 2 of which will be of decimal value. So we're going to, in this case, you're going to have the ability to store a billion. You're going to store a billion values, and then two of those can be of decimal places. Okay, so that's what that basically means. So now that we have done that, we can just go ahead and actually go to the other part. So we're going to have quantity. So this is quantity underscore in underscore stock. So quantity in stock is going to be storing the quantity of the model that is stock. So we're going to have models dot this is going to be an integer field. So there's going to be an integer field. An integer field is just going to store integer numbers, right? So we are not going to use decimal field right here, because number of product that is in stock, we don't have like 0.5 product, right? A product is either a 1 or a 0, not a decimal value, right? So it's either the full number or 0. So it can be decimal value. That's why we have to use integer. So we're going to say now it's going to be of type false, and you're going to say blank, and it's going to be of type again false. Okay, just for form and other things. Okay, so we're going to have also quantity underscore sold. And quantity sold is going to be models dot this is going to be an integer field again. So an integer field, you're going to have null. Null again is going to be false. Null is going to be false, and then you're going to say blank, and then blank is also going to be false. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to have sales, right? Each product is going to have some sales, right? How many things have been sold, and sales is going to be models dot, it's going to be a decimal field, right? Because it's going to be storing numbers. It's going to be storing money, right? Money can be in decimal. So we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to have 19, and then decimal places. We're going to say decimal places is going to be 2, and you can fill it to set this to any amount you want. Now it's going to be false, and then you're going to say blank, and blank is also going to be false. Okay, just like that. Now that you have that, you can go ahead and actually sell stock date. So when this thing was bought or something like that, when the product was entered into a database. So stock date is going to be models dot is going to be date field, and this is going to be date field is going to just be I'm going to say auto add now, and you're going to set that to be true. Okay, that will make sure that this auto add now, what it simply does is that whenever the product is added, that's when a date will be included within our records, and you can change the date afterwards. Means that whenever you are creating a product, the date when you are creating the product, that's the date that will be stored, and that will be permanent forever. Okay, so that's what we want. And then we're going to go going to say last underscore last sell date, like the last time you made a sale, and then it's going to be models dot date time field. So you're going to be a date field rather, and you're going to say auto now is going to be true, going to be set auto now to true. This auto now true, what it simply does is that whenever we save our record again, then this field will be updated. So whenever we added a new sales, then this field will be updated to store the last sales date. Okay, so that's all. So I'm going to have def here, and you're going to have this data method, and what this is simply going to do is just allow us to whenever we print our objects from this database, how it's going to look like. So whenever I print out an object from a database, what I want it to be returned, I want this one to return the product's name. So I'm going to return self.name, and I'm going to show you this just in a second. So now that you have done that, our models have been created, and that's all we need to create our model. Now for us to be this has actually created our model, and for us to create our model, I'm going to run this following command. So I'm going to just reduce this a bit. So let me just reduce this a bit so that you guys can, yeah, so I hope this is big enough. So now that I have that, I'm just going to do an ls to know where I am. Now that I'm there, I'm going to now make migration for our database to be created. Now this, by writing this code, we have just described how our database will look, but you haven't actually built or created that database. So to build that, we have to type in the following. So we have to type in python 3 manage.py, and then you say make migrations. So just press enter, and it is going to now detect all the changes in our databases, and it's going to make those migrations. So you can see that's already created a model called inventory. So now we're going to run our migration. So Python manage.py, you can say migrate, so just like this, and it's going to now run our migrate, which actually creates the database has run the full migrations. So now that we have that database created, good, we are good to go. So now let's go back to start our server again. So just type in Python 3 manage.py and then say run server, and this is going to start our development server on our local host at port 8000. So now I can just go to the browser and then I can just refresh this. Okay, now that I have refreshed it, you see I can see that database right here. I only see users and the groups database. So why is our database not here? Now that's a great question. The reason why the database doesn't appear there is that we haven't registered the database. So now you have to register the database in our admin page, and to do that you have to go to inventory folder, go to the file called admin.py, and in there you're going to now import our model here. So we're going to say from .models, you're going to import inventory. Okay, inventory. So let me just get that right. So we're going to import inventory right there. So now that you have imported inventory, you see Django even leaves a comment, register your models here. So we're going to now register our model so we can be able to see it in our admin page. So you have to say admin.site.register, and then you pass in your model. So this will be inventory, just like that. So that's how we register a model. So now that I've done that, we can now see our model in our database. So now let's check if our server is running. Yes, it is. Sometimes it stops and you have to restart your server again. So in this case it was running. Now you can see we have that inventory right here. So you can see, just click on that, and then we can go to add inventory, and I can simply add a new product here. So I'm going to add in a shoe, and I'm going to say the cost per item, maybe issue is 200, and the cost quantity in stock, maybe you have 50 in stock, let's say 50, and the quantity we have sold maybe 10 shoes already, and then the sales, it will be we can just this sales value will be actually calculated for us, but we can also input this. I'll show you how to do this later on. So you can just maybe say 10 clothes, right? We have said 10 shoes, and each shoe is 200, so just put here 2000, right? So just be 2000, just like that. If my math is correct, right, because it's 10 and 10 times 2, and 200 is just 2000. So you can just click on save, and this is going to save our record. So you can see now we have shoe here. So if I click on shoe, I can see all that record. I can delete it, and I can also update this record. So if I go back, I can just click on save, and I can see we have shoes here. Now why do we have shoe here? And the reason we have shoe here is because whenever we are developing our model, we say self.name, right? So this done that whatever you put in here is whatever will be displayed here. Okay, so if you just put in, maybe you just want to add in something else, then you can add in, and then that thing is what will be reflected here. So you can just maybe I add in maybe just hello something, this, and if I save that, if I go back here, I'll check our server is running. So I can go back here and then try to refresh. This is not, you can see right here we have shoe and then hello, right? So whatever you put in the underscore self underscore str we call this data method. So whatever you put in here is what will be shown right here. Let me just go ahead and save this. It was whatever will be shown right here. So in this case, I just want the product's name. That's why I've kept self.name. So that's how you create a database, and how you again have access to the database admin page. So in the next tutorial, we'll go ahead and actually begin to build our own application, so that we can create our own custom form, so the users can be able to add products without having necessarily to go to the admin page and other stuff like that. So guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial. Keep safe.